Hello, everybody. Welcome to the PlayStation Podcast, the podcast made by the players for the players. I am your host, Joseph, and this week, alongside me, is my good friend, Kyle. How are you doing, Kyle?
I'm doing great. I'm glad I'm back.
I know, it's been so long.
I know. Well, behind the scenes, I was here last week, but my side of things did not work out all that well. So.
No, but you know what? I'm happy to have you back.
Thank you.
Hopefully things work out. Let's not jinx this.
Yeah, no, I'm knocking on wood.
Oh, God. Yeah, knocking on wood. So last week we had Chris. Ren is still airborne. We don't know where she is. She's maybe in a giant blimp across the Pacific Ocean, but I can't tell you that because I don't own a blimp. So with that, let's talk about, before we start, we're going to talk about Sony kicking ass this Black Friday. We're going to talk about microtransactions, hopefully for the last time. We're going to talk about Destiny this week and Demon Souls. But before we do all that, I want to talk about what we've been playing. Kyle, what have you been playing last time we talked?
I finished Horizon's DLC, Frozen Wilds.
Ooh, how did you like it?
I loved it. It was a great addition to it.
Okay.
Some great story in there, and
does it set off for a sequel, or is this like a contained?
It does. I did notice it does kind of lead towards how that world can continue.
Okay,
and what
cool.
Aloy will do next. So I did like that a whole lot.
I like that.
The new machines in that game are out of control. If you're not prepared, like if you don't upgrade your weapons with what they have, the fights will be very long. You'll be in for a long fight.
Do you have that armor that gives you a shield?
I do, and I still died all the time.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
okay,
so
I'm excited.
Yeah, they're pretty tough.
All right.
And then I started up Wolfenstein last night.
Wolfenstein 2. Did you get it on Black Friday?
No, I bought it on launch. I just haven't gotten around to it.
We get burned.
I know. I got some good stuff during Black Friday, though.
Oh, yeah? Well, let's see. Yeah. What did you get on Black Friday?
GameStop had a buy two, get one free on pre-owned. So I got Dishonored 2.
All right, goodbye.
PS VR Worlds.
Okay.
Because I was waiting on that one. And Mario plus Rabbids on the Switch.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right.
I was shocked to see that pre-owned.
Yeah, no, yeah, I hopped on it. Which one was free? Which one was...
the lowest price one, so I think it was PSVR Worlds or something like that. And I got Shadow of War.
Oh, yeah?
Because it was $25. What? I haven't tried it yet, but...
It's an enjoyable experience, and for $25, I can't complain.
Yeah.
It's a real good game, even with the microtransactions. $25.
Yeah. What about you, Joe?
For me, I bought Nier Automata.
Okay.
I'm waiting to just. This is the last game until I can safely say my game of the years are. So Nier Automata, I'm gonna be opening that up. I'm gonna be playing it tonight after this episode. The Evil Within 2. And Assassin's Creed Origins.
Okay.
So,
all pretty big games, yeah. Very busy.
So big. But what else? I'm sorry, Wolfenstein. How are you liking it? Because I got through.
I love it. I love the first one.
Yeah.
The first one, like what most people say about it, the first 45 minutes kind of drag in the first game, and once you get over a certain point, it really clicks and you're all in. This one, there's no hump. Like they put you right in, and you are good to go. And they do a really good job. Even if you didn't play the first game, they did a really good job of replaying what happened in the first one, so you're right up to speed. They have a nice little movie, like mini movie about the events that happened. They have you make the choice from the first game in that little mini movie.
Yeah.
So that's how they get around that in case you didn't play the first one. It's still as brutal as ever. The humor is still there, and it's not oddly placed. It's like really, it fits the story well. It's still very hard. But it's great.
I played the first 2 levels. Holy crap! Yeah, it is so tough.
Yeah,
it is a game that I actually might put on easy just to beat.
I was thinking that too.
Yeah, I never put anything on easy. Like, the challenge here is real, and I really like that.
Yeah,
I gotta say. Anything else you've played?
No, that's pretty much it.
Oh man, I've continually playing and hoping it gets better. Battlefront 2.
Okay, yeah,
It's like I want to love this game. I want to love it so much, but there's just so much wrong with it. And I just want to say, I want to give my little review here.
Okay.
I literally only played this.
You have the floor, Joe.
Thank you. Is that the single player does not understand, to me as a Star Wars fan, I cannot write a better story than they can. Okay, but I see a good story when I know a good story when there is one, and this was not a good story. I'm just gonna say it. It's bad.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not worth $60 if you're looking just to buy the single player. To me, when I heard that there was going to be an imperial perspective to the story, I was like, cool, this could be a Rogue One for the bad guys type of story. That's awesome, right? Like, you get to see that maybe everybody in the imperial side isn't as evil as we think they are, and maybe that there's some humility and something in there, right? That there's some soul in this game, in these people, and we didn't get any of that in this game, man. You didn't get it at all. Like Iden Versio and the cast of characters, for the most part, except for Del, are stoic, are just dicks to be dicks. Just, classic Imperial, like, call them rebel scum just to call them rebel scum. There's no personality there. And a brief spoiler here, but trust me, I'm saving you time. So fast forward 3 minutes into this podcast, if you would you kindly? The fact of the matter is, this is not an Imperial story. The advertising lies to you. You're playing a rebel. She switches sides.
Oh.
You and one of your members switch sides.
Okay.
And it's in the most... Look, you're pretty much a Navy SEAL for the Imperials, right? You've done some awful things, you would have to think, in order to save the Empire. Mm-hmm. Why the fact of when her planet is about to get blown up by the Imperials, Operation Inferno is them taking a bunch of satellites, aiming it at a planet, and blowing it up to instill fear in their other planets, in their so that they don't join the Republic, is the dumbest idea ever. Is so stupid. And her twist of, now we're gonna join their side. I'm like, what? Did you not hear about Alderaan? Mm-hmm. Like, you have to know about those things.
Yeah, that was a pretty big thing.
You're in deep. Yeah, your father's an admiral. Like, you're okay with 2 Death Stars that could blow up planets, but when it's yours, that's when you care. Fuck you. Like, that's what I thought about it. Del had a good turn to the light side, because he actually confronts Luke, and he's wondering why Luke isn't killing him, and Luke said, because you gave me a choice. I don't want to hurt you. And like, they're talking about, like, it's revealed to Del that the Emperor is a Sith, and it just made sense. Like, his arc makes sense. The one member of Inferno Squad, Iden's, makes no sense whatsoever. And then all of a sudden, you just surrender to the Republic, and, Princess Leia just forgets that you killed and made orphans out of, like, so many kids, right? Like, the first level, you're in a ship full of Republic commandos, and you're just, like, gunning all of them down. So, like, oh, yeah, no, that's fine. Lives are worthless to me. Come, you're part of us. You'll be my best bud. We'll crack jokes together. No. Single player, stay out of it. It's not good at all. And I want it to be good. But, like, the multiplayer, I'm finding glitchy. I'm finding buggy. I'm finding it to be laggy. I'm just like, I'm giving you, like, 2 weeks here, guys. Are we not getting this? I think after a few days, and depending on how good Nier Automata is, I won't be playing this game anymore.
It sounds to me like it's not fun, and that's what games are supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, like, dude, the space battles are fun. The combat when it works is fun, but it's also flawed. It's a bummer. Yeah. But you know what? We're not going to open the show on a bummer. We're going to talk about some high notes.
All right.
For the past 3 weeks, EA's been in the front of the news. This is not the EA podcast. No. This is the PlayStation podcast, because I can't think of a better name.
That would be an awful podcast. Just all about EA. Right? Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy. I don't want that job. I don't want that podcast. So, with that, we talked about Black Friday a little bit here. This Black Friday has been, to me, I think the best Black Friday possibly ever in terms of deals. What do you think about Black
my
Friday?
God, it was insane. The one game that I wanted to get that I couldn't because it was sold out was Injustice 2. Because GameStop had it for $14.
$14.
And that was the first thing I asked for, and they said, no, we sold out of it like hours ago.
Yeah. Dude, what a doorbuster of a sale.
Yeah.
Like Nier was $25.
Yeah, exactly.
And then like Cyber Monday, it's like even a little bit cheaper. I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah. It did hurt, like you said, Wolfenstein 2 is on sale. And I bought it not that long ago on launch day, and to see it being cut down already. But that's me being like an early adopter type of
exactly.
person.
You gotta grin and bear it.
It didn't hurt that bad, but I could have used that couple bucks.
Guess who got a whole lot of bucks this Black Friday though?
Oh, I'm guessing what this podcast is all about: Sony and PlayStation.
Yeah, Sony has come out. It's crazy to me how well the PlayStation continues to do, and we're in the 15th year of the PlayStation 4, right?
Yeah.
Like it's nuts. Right now, Sony has already announced, which is even crazier, that they have done Black Friday wise. This has been the best Black Friday since I think they said 2013.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, which is amazing. And even like my firsthand accounts, it was hard to find PlayStations. Like, we saw Xbox Ones, and they were selling. They were. I'm not going to lie to you and say they were gone.
Yeah.
Every place I went, we saw Switches. When I was going to stores, the hardest thing to find was a PlayStation.
Yeah.
Dude, the Best Buy sold out of PlayStations. The only PlayStations they had left was the Call of Duty Ugly Limited Edition. Because, let's be honest, who wants that?
Nope.
And in Target, all they had was 2 of the PlayStation 4 Pro Star Wars bundles. Because, let's be honest, who wants that?
Yeah.
It's ugly. So, like, to me, seeing it, I was like, I could believe this. Their profit is up 346%.
Jesus.
As of their reporting. And the UK as well. The UK had, the PlayStation 4 had its most successful Black Friday week ever as well in the UK. So, what do you think about this in terms of, of course it's good for Sony, but we're seeing the launch of the Xbox One X. We see the Nintendo Switch as well. That's its first holiday season. And there's an analyst reporting saying that November could be, it's up in the air. Like, anybody could take this month.
Yeah.
What do you think that this shows consumers or shows the public in terms of the power of PlayStation?
I think what it shows is that we're finally getting some huge titles coming soon. And I think the people who were waiting to buy a PlayStation 4 are seeing, oh, we've got a brand new God of War coming soon. We've got The Last of Us 2 in the near future. Spider-Man. Like, all these, and then not to forget Horizon this year, Persona 5, all these standout titles for PlayStation. Now is the best time, and as corny as it is, it's the best time to jump on board on a PlayStation.
No, dude, it's like $199 for a PlayStation 4.
Exactly.
Where do you go wrong? You can't.
Yeah.
This thing's usually what, $300, right?
Yeah.
And it's $199. That's nuts. And to see it drop this low, do you think that this is giving signals for Sony to maybe stick out with the PlayStation 4 a little while longer, or do you think that a lot of people are saying 2 years we're going to see the PlayStation 5? What do you think?
I think they might hold out a little bit. I don't think they're in any rush to go into a new console because of how well it's selling. And that being said, though, like, just seeing the little bit of Last of Us Part 2, I don't think that's running on a PlayStation 4.
Well, they did say it was, but
did they? Okay, because I could see that. I could see that being like, hey, new PlayStation, look at how gorgeous this game is. It can only be on the PS5 or whatever.
Yeah,
but
I still think The Last of Us is the swan song. Just every time there's like the last like few months of a PlayStation console, that's where it's gonna be.
Well, yeah, it's PS2 was God of War 2, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That was the last big one.
Correct.
PS3, Last of Us, the first one, I think.
So good.
Yeah, and then PS4 could end up on Last of Us Part 2. That'd be a good idea.
Right. Overall, this is great news for PlayStation. I'm really excited. To me, it kind of shows that maybe that press conference wasn't all as useless as we thought it was.
Yeah.
I like what you were saying before, like Last of Us 2, maybe that's why you showed it, a few days before the X comes out, because look at it. The sales are doing fantastic. I'm so excited to see everybody this year doing really well.
Yeah.
In terms of competition and Sony. Like, I was just on a Nintendo, if we ran Nintendo, and like I was saying, dude, I saw a mountain of Switches. Right, a mountain of Nintendo Switches, but people were grabbing them.
Yeah,
it wasn't like oh, look at this. This is a failure. People were like, oh my god, there's still more. Like seeing like the Xbox Ones, like they're like these are the last of them. I'm like, this is awesome, because this is what it is to be a gamer. It's everybody winning, everybody doing successful, and then the games come right after that as well. So for me, this is good news. Good news on you, Sony.
Exactly. Yeah, congratulations. And to think not that long ago, there were experts saying, consoles are dying. Like, we're going to start going in the next age, and no one's going to be buying new consoles, and they're doing record numbers. Thank God.
Yeah. It really, I think, dude, you hit the nail on the head here. Is like, consoles aren't going anywhere.
Yeah.
Nobody wants a game on an Apple TV.
No. God, no. See how well the Ouya did. The Ouya was awful. No one wants that.
Exactly. Nobody wants a game on these things. There is still a need for dedicated hardware. That is the Xbox, that is the PlayStation, that is whatever Nintendo does.
Yeah.
There's still a demand for powerful boxes that give us great games. Because what really is the Apple TV gonna do it? Is Roku gonna do it? No, they're all stupid gimmicks.
No. And even on that point, the consoles aren't just there for playing games. They are like, you can get with PlayStation and PlayStation View, watch your shows on PlayStation. I rarely watch cable anymore. I'm usually watching YouTube or Netflix, all on my PlayStation. That's a big plus for someone who's trying to look to get a console.
Yeah. What a great time to be a gamer, man. This really is. I want to talk about successes, talk about things that make me happy. I want to talk about Ninja Theory here for a second. They have just came out to say, as of November 22nd, that Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice is now profitable. I don't know if I mentioned this last show or not, but I want to mention it here. Hellblade came out this summer. There was no traction for this game. There was no big, huge ad campaign. This is, what Ninja Theory was touting as a AAA light experience that is not funded by a big publisher. That this is all Ninja Theory is doing.
Yeah.
This game is 100% theirs with the look and feel of a AAA game. They've just come out and said, with the combined total of PlayStation 4 and PC sales as of now since August, they have sold over 250,000 copies across both the PlayStation and PC. And they're saying that now the game is officially profitable for the company.
That's
meaning
awesome.
That I know, as of right now, every copy of Hellblade is pure profit for them.
That's fantastic.
Oh man, what do you think about this news? And I know it's great.
Yeah.
But more so, in fact, is this going to be the spark that lights the fire that is not burning the First Order down, but telling indies that, hey, let's start making risks. Let's start taking bigger projects. Is there going to be a use of third-party publishers in a few years? I know that's a lot to answer, but what do you think?
I do think this will be kind of like a wake-up call in a sense. Yeah. Like, hey, Ninja Theory did it. They believed in themselves to make this product and see how well it is. Let's take a chance. Let's believe in ourselves to develop or deliver something that hasn't been done yet. That, like, everyone has that thing in the back of their head where I've always wanted to do that. I guarantee, like, most of these game developers have that idea that they want to do, but it might be hard to sell the idea to a developer or publisher. So like seeing them do Hellblade, and that's not like a. I mean, is it technically a AAA?
They said that it's kind of marketed. It's like kind of marketing terms. But when they say like here right here it says Ninja Theory explains that it believes the AAA indie model it has established can also be successful with other studios. Yeah. And it goes on further here in the DualShockers article. It's more of the hey, it looks and it also feels like a AAA title. Yeah. But this is an indie studio. Yeah, and it's an unconventional game from what I've seen of it. So it's not like it stands apart from what else is on the market right now. And I think that's it's great. And I hope more people do take risks, just like Ninja Theory did. Dude, and knowing that, like reading this article, 20 people made this, and like this is 20 people's hard work and dedication making this game that I've played, and it's fantastic. Like this game is going to be, when I'm doing my little game of the year spreadsheet, it's going to be talked about. Like this is, to me, Hellblade is going to be a game that we talk about at the end of this generation. What were the games that were truly important, not just of sales, but to the gaming industry? I think Hellblade's that game. I really do think that. Is it, because I haven't played it myself and I'm excited to, but is it not, maybe not in the same way, but is it as important as Journey was? Is it in the same type of, I would say so, company? All right, yeah. I would say so. I think you know, Journey and that it's they're both telling really serious stories, and Hellblade especially is telling a very they're both telling a really personal, very intimate, but I would say, and I know it sounds a little weird, Hellblade's a little bit more serious because it's diving into the psyche rather than like this beautiful homage to life and death. It's actually diving into the psyche of a person who's lost their mind, and that makes the game, going deeper and deeper into that game as you're losing your mind more and more. The more voices start coming into your head, it does things, man. Like it's not gonna make me, it doesn't make me cry like Journey does, but it's a game that is deep and personal for its own reasons. Yeah, you got to take a second while playing. Yeah, it's really that too, and there's some scary shit, man. That game, I had to take breaks. I'm like, this is creeping me out too much. I also love that they named it Hellblade. Right after Heavenly Sword, so like I do like, I know that's not a important part in their thought process, but I appreciate that nod. That was good. Yeah, and now, man, we got to talk about this again. Every time you bring me on, Joe. Every time. I know. I'm so sorry. It's okay. I got to bring up EA here again. Again, I didn't want to make it the story we're talking about, but a lot of people are, again, very pissed off about Battlefront 2. Hell, I'm upset about it still. We talked about it last week, how Belgium, the state of Hawaii, are trying to implement ways of enforcing some type of regulations over loot boxes over this game, over EA. And a lot of people were blaming EA and just pointing the finger at them. But like I was trying to say in that podcast and in my previous work over at Bad Bit Games, is that there's more to meet the eye here. And so I'm going to read you a few things. Hopefully I don't fudge it up, but here we go. Let's do it. All right. So we're going to take this quote from the Lucasfilm brand boss, Douglas Riley, and to shed some light about the current situation over there at EA, over there at Battlefront. And he had this to say. Here's his quote. "We have input and they take feedback from us across the whole spectrum. We have worked together very much to understand those systems and how they work and what they're trying to achieve. How they touch the brand and how they affect consumer experience. I think the challenge, and it's one that everybody is facing in this industry. Running live services requires tuning and tweaking, and sometimes you don't get it right the first try. Once you put it in the hands of hundreds or thousands or millions of players, you continue to learn how they interact with the things you've made, and you run into things that have to be adjusted along the way. That's the unfortunate reality of making games with a live service component. Wow, that was a big quote, but it kind of goes off to what the DICE people have been saying, right? It's, hey guys, we're going to listen. We're tuning things. We're adjusting things. Look at our spreadsheets. To me, this quote is a little PR nonsense, but going deeper into this DualShocker article, I want to go just take the last two paragraphs as well, and it's quoted. I'm quoting DualShockers here with, Riley said that Lucasfilm will oftentimes either check in with EA directly or one of the specific studios working on the Star Wars title. And what they're talking about is talking to, Respawn and what they're working on. Talking to Visceral, Visceral when Visceral is working on Star Wars. Talking to Criterion of how the ships move in Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
And then talking about DICE. With that, I continue. He then went on to say that they'll go visit them in person at least once every quarter to play the latest build of the game and talk about what they're doing in the future to improve the title before it's released. Riley said that the conversations between developers and Lucasfilm can range from mundane things like references from Star Wars characters or vehicles they'd like to add in the game, or more deeper conversations about how the title will tie into the overall Star Wars universe. The ultimate goal is to make sure that fans are having a great Star Wars experience. That was in quotes. And you can check out the rest of the interview where they talk about blah, 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 blah. Okay, so with that said, that dives a little bit deeper into this conversation we're having in the gaming sphere of who's to blame, right? We think it's purely EA, but when we've gone into talking about, Disney also said that they have to take or get rid of microtransactions. Please understand that Disney was aware of the system they had in place. It was EA, it was DICE being the salesman and telling them, no, what we have here is fine. It's the quarterly meetings. We saw, maybe, I'm going to bring this to you. Does Lucasfilm have a part to blame here? Or do you feel like this is solely on EA? That this little quote they have, is it enough to justify anything? Or do you think Disney's in the wrong just like EA?
I think they have to have some partial blame. Again, it's all about trust. Like, you should trust them to do their vision. The nitpicking and micromanagement, it doesn't work anywhere. It doesn't work in my job. It doesn't work in your work. It doesn't. So, like, when people do that to you, it kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? It distorts what you're working on. It changes it. So, yeah, I think Lucasfilm and Disney have some part to blame for it.
To me, I take a look at this article, and while I'm reading the quote, I'm like, that to me is just some PR jargon. That to me is trying to give DICE and EA the benefit of the doubt. The part where it's like, we don't get things done. Sometimes things don't get right on the first try. I'm like, that's something DICE would say, or probably has said along the way here. To me, Disney owns some of the blame. Lucasfilm and Douglas Riley also have some blame to go around. I think when we talk about, you talked about micromanaging, I think that, to me, there needed to be a little bit more. Because when we hear quarterly meetings, you're meeting maybe twice, maybe once every 4 months. That's like, if I owned Star Wars, I want to know, and I want a guy in there. Yeah. I want a guy that's reporting to me. I want, like, you know what I mean? Like, that is very true. Bi-weekly meeting.
Yeah, you gotta have somebody make sure, like, they're not royally screwing it up.
Yeah,
like it's still got it. In the end of the day, it still has to be a Star Wars thing.
exactly. And
So
to
yeah,
me,
I understand that.
Yeah, like I'm handing this baby, and I don't want to like I want to make sure the baby comes back and it's a beautiful baby.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want them to mistreat my baby.
Yep.
It's Star Wars. It's billions of dollars we're talking about here. So like for me, if I was Disney, yeah, I would have liked someone on that team that in some form or some way, whether it's bi-monthly or whether it's just monthly, I would rather them have, you know, every month, let's get a rundown. What are we working with here? We're talking about microtransactions. When you're adding another payment or season passes or whatever, I want to know the conversation and I want to know the system you're building, and I want you to flesh that out more.
Yeah.
To me, like when you're like, we talked. So what you're saying is you talked maybe tops 10 times during this game being made, or 12 times rather. Like that's not enough. You know, to me as an outsider looking into it, right? I don't know what the hell they're talking about, but to me, if you're meeting probably, you know, for an hour or two a day and you're testing out a build, I doubt this guy's a gamer. You know what I mean? Like, I bet he's hearing a whole lot of something in his left ear, and he's just saying, "Oh wow, this looks nice. This looks like Star Wars," but not really getting the full experience, I guess, is what I want to point at. To me, man, I asked Chris this: if I was Disney, what do I do with the Star Wars property? Do I let the contract run out after 10 years and just be done with EA, or am I sticking with the cards and being dealt here? What do I do?
It's a good question. I'm not sure myself, but I was listening to Kind of Funny Games Daily today.
Okay.
And Greg had Anthony Gallegos on, who worked on Marvel Heroes and Gazillion, former IGNer. And there was one question, they were talking about the EA stuff, and he brought up how great it would be for Star Wars games to not be tied to a canon. Like, it doesn't rely on having to stick with canon. What if they were allowed to do a Star Wars story and just let it be its own thing? Much like how DC let Rocksteady do a Batman Arkham game that lives in its own world. Marvel Spider-Man for PS4 that lives in its own world, its own self-wrapped story. So I think if they didn't so rely on having it tie in with canon, I think there could be better stories and we could see what we want in Star Wars games.
I think that's something I didn't think of. And
yeah, when he said it on the show today, I was like, wow, that would be fantastic.
Oh boy, that's why he's the #1 gaming podcast, huh? No, you know what? First off, let me tell you, this is why Greg Miller's wrong.
This wasn't Greg, this was Anthony.
Oh, this is why you're wrong, Anthony. This is why we'll be the #1 podcast on the internet. Is this? I think when Star Wars and comic books are two different things. So, like, when we're talking about comic books, there's you know, several different versions of Batman. There's several different versions of Spider-Man. They can get away with it easier because those stories have been reset and told differently time and time again. As for where Star Wars is the story, you know, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, it's a different beast. And it's one where, as a Star Wars fan, thinking of other Star Wars things, I remember when Disney went, "Hey guys, you know, we got our axe here and we're chopping away at what's canon and what's not," and people were getting like kind of some confused, some of them grateful like me, and some of them angry because, like, what do you mean the Old Republic is not canon? Like, you were getting those conversations of people being pissed. They're like, wait a second. The Old Republic's not canon, but the prequels are. Wait a second. Like, it was like all these things in limbo. So for me, I think they're two totally different beasts, but I wouldn't say at the same time, I wouldn't like another Gubarashi Arena game from PS1 back onto the PlayStation. Dude, I used to play that game. It was a fighting game, guys. If you guys don't know, the audience, it was a fighting game on the PlayStation 1, an arena fighter It was kind of like a bad Tekken, and like lightsabers. You'd have Luke fighting like, I don't know, like Boba Fett or Han Solo, and it's just like lasers were Nerf darts, and the lightsabers were made out of foam. It was ridiculous. That game, give me another one. As bad as it was, but no, like I could see that. I would like. I think though. I think that's in the future. It's like you could play around with it more. I also think that they've done that as well with oh god, The Force Unleashed, playing around with the lore and making it, is this canon, is it not? And Star Wars fans, you either loved it or you hated that move. So I think it's a different beast. Yeah. When talking Star Wars, but Kyle, I could talk about Star Wars all goddamn day.
At the end of the day,
yeah.
I think it's good for Star Wars and EA to not stay longer than they need to.
The 10 years.
Yeah.
Well, who do you think would pick Star Wars up?
Oh my god.
Exactly.
It's a tough question.
I know. I think I said last episode that I would have rebuilt LucasArts.
Yeah.
Because if I'm the type of person that I'm very hands-on, so I don't like to be hands-off. So I don't want to hand it to anybody.
That's true.
If it's an intellectual property like a Star Wars, I want to either make it in-house or actually do what Marvel's doing and go, okay, EA, you get the Battlefront series. We want a third-person series, like shop around. 2K, you handle this. Bethesda, you handle that, and make Mr. What is this? Mr. Riley, make Douglas Riley work for his money and actually go and make sure these stories work, but also give them their own feeling. You know, if you're gonna hand the movies off to different directors every time, I would like to see maybe some other creative developers get their hands at it, other than just DICE. But
all right, before moving on.
Yes.
Shout out to Jordan Boyd, who wrote that article for Dual Shockers. Jordan, I know Jordan. He's a fellow Kind of Funny best friend. He lives maybe a half an hour from me. He's a great kid, and I think at Comic-Con he actually got to interview like some of the guys who made some of the Final Fantasy games. Ooh. So you got to sit in a room with them. He's fantastic. If you're looking for a future guest, and if he's allowed to, give Jordan.
I was about to say.
Yeah, give Jordan a shout out. I'm sure he'd be happy to be on if he's allowed to, because I don't know what Dual Shockers has him do.
That's true. Is Dual Shockers locking him down?
It might be, but he's doing great work. So shout out to you, Jordan.
Hey, Jordan, you're okay in my book, and you're invited. You know, and anybody from Dual Shockers, I love to say.
Yeah.
But you know, we're better than them. They have to learn their place. That's all I gotta say. Is that you're lucky to be on this podcast, but you got to know your place. This is the PlayStation podcast, you know? Anyway, back on to the next story, which is, you know what? I'm going to save that for last.
Okay.
I'm not going to talk about Destiny right now.
Okay.
Get my blood pressure. What I do want to talk about, and it is sad news, this is just for me. Demon Souls servers are shutting down, removing part of what made the game so great. This is from Kotaku. Dark Souls, guys, if you don't know, Demon Souls rather, is what made Dark Souls. It's what made Bloodborne. It's what made all these games that we see like Nioh right now. These more methodical, these more, I guess, slower pace. I hate saying that. Action RPGs that we see today. The brutal, unforgiving, you know, type of you died RPGs that we see today. This was on the PlayStation 3, and I have a funny story for this. This was actually supposed to be, and it is, a PlayStation exclusive. This whole series was supposed to be a PlayStation exclusive. But over there in Japan, it's actually published by Sony. Sony actually didn't have faith in it coming into North America, or not enough faith, so they actually let it to, I believe, Bandai Namco to publish the game here in the States. So the reason why you don't see any Demon Souls 2 is because I believe Sony does own the IP to that game.
Yeah.
I believe. I could be wrong here.
That sounds about right.
But with the success, they made Dark Souls. Dark Souls 1 was an amazing game. Dark Souls 2 was a game and it happened. No, it's great, but it had its flaws. Then we had Bloodborne, Joseph's Game of the Year 2014, that got robbed by The Witcher. That's one of the main reasons why we have this podcast. And so with that, you'll still be able to play the game, but you won't get the signs. You won't get those letters, the campfires that tell you where you're going or what you're fucking up on or what there's a trap where in the game. So it's sad, but...
I have limited experience with the Souls games.
Yeah. Tell me your experience.
I played Demon's Souls back when it came out on PS3, and I just remember the trolls in that game with their little messages like, "Hey, go left," and then I go left and I die a miserable death. Like,
dude,
I would be so pissed off.
You know what? There was very rare times that I ever got tricked by like a troll.
Yeah,
but like there were some like Dark Souls 3. Actually, to me, I think once you or no Bloodborne, there was like a secret passage that led to death, and some guy's like, "Oh no, here it is, Bloodborne." Right? There's the second level. The guy that gives you the wheel weapon, right? He's part of this order that is out to kill the Vile Bloods, I believe. If I'm not mistaken. One guy said, "Don't trust," and I'm like, "Uh-oh. You know what? I'm not going to trust him. I'm going to kill this motherfucker.
Yeah.
This Arthas-looking son of a bitch." So I slapped him, and then he made a mockery of me. He kicked my ass so bad that I had to restart the game because I thought that I hit someone really important. Though I did hit someone kind of important, it wasn't a big deal that I thought it was. But I actually restarted because of that.
That's crazy.
so like once I learned, like Dark Souls 3, I actually knew what's a troll comment and what's not, and I actually learned that way. So Dark Souls 3 to me is the epitome of actually the community doing a 180 instead of being troll douchebags. They're actually the most helpful sort.
That's such a cool feature to have in a game from that way back.
So awesome.
And I say way back like it's forever ago, but like, but still, that's around that time. Wasn't a game that really did that.
Yeah,
that's pretty.
And there's
cool.
Still not many games that do that too. Oh, man. Let me tell you something, Kyle. If you get to see Bloodborne 2 at PSX, I'm not fucking there. I am going to be so jealous. You won't... If you had to say, Joseph, you could get Last of Us 2 or Bloodborne 2, I would go with Bloodborne 2.
Wow. I'm on the opposite side of you. Because I'm not a Souls or Bloodborne guy, so...
Yeah. You know what? I'm good with The Last of Us. Last of Us was so great and told a great story that technically I don't need a Last of Us 2 ever
Very
again.
true.
It's so perfect. Bloodborne, amazing. I just want to know more about what's going on.
Yeah.
So
that world definitely felt really cool.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Let's continue on to... Oh boy. Destiny 2, scaling system removed by Bungie following concerns from players. This is an article straight off of DualShockers. It's like it's a theme here, guys.
Yeah.
It's like our paths were meant to be crossed, DualShockers. You know, I'm just saying some cross promotion would not be that bad. But with that said, I know the system. I know it all too well. How far have you gotten in Destiny 2, if you haven't played it?
No, I beat the single player.
Ooh, okay.
With my Titan, and I've done a few after game things, but I haven't done the raid yet.
That's so much fun.
I want to so bad. I just need to find the time to do it.
Yeah, dude, if you find the time, I will hop back on my Warlock.
Awesome.
We'll do it.
I know our mutual friend Mike, who also has not done it yet, and he wants to do it, so maybe we should plan something.
We already got yes, dude. We could do a kind of clan raid.
There we go. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, no, I would love to do that.
No, but I love Destiny 2. It's way better than the first game. The first game didn't really grab me because I'm a story person, and I was very surprised with how well Destiny 2's story is. It's a big step up, at least from the first game. So
yeah. And let me. You know what? This article's so short. I'll read it.
Okay.
And then I'll tell my piece. So, over the past week, Destiny 2 players found out that the game includes a system that makes experience scale depending on the rate at which is required. Today at Bungie, that made no sense. Maybe I'm having a stroke. That sentence made no sense. Today, Bungie posted an announcement addressing the concern by this discovery. According to the developer, XP scales upwards when playing longer or fixed duration activities like Crucible, competitive multiplayer matches, and the Leviathan raid, while it scales downward for activities that can be done quickly, like repeated public events and quests. Bungie mentions that the team is not happy with the results, acknowledging that the community isn't happy as well, and as a result, they are deactivating the system effective immediately. So here's the deal. What was happening in Destiny was this. The system, once you reach level 20, every time you would level up, you get a bright engram. And what bright engrams were loot boxes. You go to the Eververse person, the marketplace vendor that you can buy Glimmer for, or not Glimmer, Silver, and purchase things like weapon ornaments, which changes the look of your exotics, shaders, emotes. Some shaders, emotes, ships, the whole 9 yards. And with that, you take these bright engrams and they would unlock something, whether it's, again, shaders or any of those things I just previously mentioned. Now what happens is, after 5 levels, every time you level afterwards that week, it gets progressively harder. You get progressively less XP for doing the same event, the same things you were doing before. And now with this new system, it highlights a problem that I was noticing in the raid, which means, okay, already after 5 levels, you're gaining less XP. But now on top of it, if you're doing Crucible, if you're doing the Leviathan raid, most notably the biggest piece of endgame content, you're now getting even less XP than before, making that grind even harder. So what it's essentially, if you don't have the time, you're guaranteed maybe 5 loot boxes every single week. What this would encourage you to do while you're trying to get leveled up is kind of try to convince you, because you're going to the marketplace over and over again, to get that silver to buy that thing. So let's just say, like, you ran out of the 5, really fast times you got XP and you got a loot box, and you see that you're only 100, whatever the points is, dust. You're only like 500 away to get that ornament, and you don't know when the ornament's going to come back. Yeah. Well, maybe I'll spend $5. Maybe I'll spend $10 and buy that ornament, because I was so damn close, but I'm getting nowhere. It's kind of like out of frustration, people were buying stuff. Yeah. I'm surprised because I saw this immediately. We made a video about it, and we got shot down. People were like, Joe, you're overreacting. I'm surprised now that people are so angry about it. What are your thoughts on this system? And Destiny, Bungie's response to it all, too.
Yeah, first of all, I don't like their response at all. It's very much like, well, shit, someone found out, so we kind of have to admit to it type of thing. But I don't like it at all. It's... I don't know. I'm not a fan of it.
Like,
it's hard to put into words.
I got it right here. Okay. When in Breaking Bad, they're Walter White and what was his brother-in-law's name?
Hank.
Hank goes, well, maybe you're Heisenberg, and then he just like you get that like brief second of like awkwardness, and then he's just like, got me. Yeah. Yeah. Like that's what I kind of feel like. It's like. Yeah, it's like it's kind of trying to brush something under the rug. What do you think the response should be out of Bungie? How do you think they should have went about it?
They should have been more upfront about it, if that makes sense. Like, if that was going to be a part of the game, they should have let everyone know that a long time ago. Yeah. Like, hey, you can't do the same thing over and over again and expect the same experience or the same level of reward type of thing.
Do you think they're doing this because of what happened with EA? Because of what happened with Battlefront?
Meaning coming out and talking about it?
Like, coming out and even acknowledging it. Like coming out and trying to fan the fire down by saying, hey, guys, we're getting on top of it. The next update, Curse of Osiris, it's gone. Trust us.
I think the only reason they brought it up was because someone had hard evidence.
Right.
I don't think it was because I believe there was somebody on Reddit who actually mathed it out and did all the math for all the experience and what he should have gotten and what he really got. And that was hard evidence. So I think that's the only reason why they responded. Because it could have just been a whole hearsay thing. So I definitely think they could have done a better job.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It sucks because Destiny's such a good game.
Yeah.
Mechanics wise, I don't like the way Bungie's changing as a company. I love Blizzard. I love Blizzard. I make Warcraft references all the damn time. In every single one of my videos, there's a Warcraft reference. I love what Blizzard does. They have loot boxes, but at least they treat you like people. With Bungie, there was this human element that they have for so long, with Halo, and even with, in the beginning, some of Destiny as well, that I feel like they're just losing a bit of their humanity.
Yeah.
And maybe that's just maybe the kink is starting to show in the armor, and we're kind of getting to see the company for what they really is, but to have a season pass and then to have these microtransactions in the first place was greedy to me. Taking away my shaders and making them these consumable items, that pissed me off.
That's very frustrating.
Very frustrating. And then to see this, I'm like, come the fuck on. Where do you think you get off?
Yeah.
It's aggravating, man.
Yeah.
I don't know how they salvage this. I mean, by doing a 180, I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope that you get rewarded for doing Crucible. It makes no sense that you wouldn't be rewarded for doing things in the game. It's like they don't want you to keep playing. I don't know, man.
They also got to fix the whole loot drop stuff.
What do you mean?
I believe when they were streaming the new Temple of Osiris or Curse of Osiris thing.
Yeah.
He did the whole thing, and the guy who was playing it was saying, we've improved loot drops and better items and stuff. And he got 2 blue engrams and something that he doesn't use or something like that.
Okay.
It needs to be more of a reward. I've watched people do the raid, and the stuff they get out of the chests are nothing.
It's funny that the whole loot system in that game needs overhaul.
Yeah.
To me, we could have our own podcast about what things should change in Destiny. In terms of loot, I really think they should have went. Again, here's me tooting their own horn, but as a person that's played MMOs, and most popularly World of Warcraft, the way they do items makes more sense. I mean, it's not perfect, but it makes way more sense, as at least of when I left, made more sense than Destiny. It's with Destiny, you never have to play the raid to get the best gear, and that's the worst outcome, because there's technically no reason to play the raid other than you want a challenge.
Yeah.
And then after you beat it, there's really no reason to come back unless you want a shiny, cool-looking weapon, but you could still get that weapon somewhere else. So for me, Destiny still needs work.
Yeah.
It really does. With that said, though, before we leave...
Okay.
I know, guys, this was a bummer of an episode. But before we go, and it was short, man, but we made the most of it. Holy crap. I thought walking into this, after the Thanksgiving week, I was like, what am I going to find? I need to wait till Monday to get all this. And there was stuff.
Yeah.
There was stuff.
There's always stuff in the world of PlayStation.
Oh, look at you, Kyle. You're going to PSX next week.
I am.
Right?
Yes.
We mentioned this
in the Lost episode
earlier. And in the Lost episode. We talked about some of the games you're excited about, and unfortunately we lost all of that. So with PSX, I want you have the floor. I've talked too much. I want to know what you're excited. Why are you going?
Okay.
What is getting you your jimmies rustled?
Ooh.
What are you looking forward to play?
All right. Well, why I'm going is I am a PlayStation guy through and through. And the moment they announced they did a PlayStation experience, PlayStation centered convention, I've always wanted to go. Last year I wanted to go. I bought a ticket, but I just couldn't afford the flight and stuff because of real world struggles.
It's what happened to me this year.
Yeah. So I've always wanted to go. It just seems like it's like some people's nerdvana is, I don't know, going to George Lucas's ranch, or Star Wars.
It's one of mine.
Mine is to be surrounded by PlayStation fans and cool new PlayStation games. So I'm going for that reason. I'm also going because there's some really cool people that I love talking to online, and they're going to be there. We talk about the kind of funny best friends, and just to be around them because I'm all the way out East End, Long Island.
It's true. It's get to meet all these people you talk to online.
Yeah, there's not a lot of us out here, and I just love being around that type of energy. So
yeah.
What was the second question? What I'm looking forward to seeing?
What are you looking forward to seeing and playing, getting your hands on?
Well, I'm really excited to see what this keynote thing is going to be. Since it's technically not a keynote, they're calling it like a, I forgot the words they're using.
I forget too. It's not a convention. It's not a keynote.
It's like a show briefing or something.
Yeah. We know Dreams is gonna be there, and Ghost of
Tsushima, the Sucker Punch game. Yeah. I'm just excited to see what that's gonna be, because that was one of my biggest reasons for going, is because I want to be in that crowd. Yeah. I want to hear the pop when something big comes. So, I'm hoping there's more. Because I don't really care about Dreams.
I don't think anybody does.
I love what I saw in that Sucker Punch trailer for Ghost of Tsushima, but I don't think there's going to be more there. I'd be shocked if they show off more.
Yeah, I would be shocked if you see gameplay.
Yeah. But I'm hoping for at least one or two, like, big drops. Like, because PlayStation Experience is for us. It's for the PlayStation nerds.
Do you think they're going to drop some dates?
I could see dates. That's one of my predictions going in. I do think there are some dates. I'd be shocked if God of War is not dated at PSX.
I would be so damn displeased.
Exactly. I could definitely see dates. I could see one or two games that might not be on the big end, but something that we would love to see, like a PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale 2. I would love to see that being dropped. I really want to see Gio Corsi on stage because I love Gio, and
Gio's fun.
He's keeping the Vita alive, and see what kind of surprises he has in store for us there. Yeah. And then as far as what I'm excited for playing, I'm sorry, Joe.
Yeah. No, that's what I was going to ask you next.
As far as what I'm excited to play, it's Far Cry 5. I want to get my hands on that.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember the list of games. I know that was number 1 up there.
Detroit?
Oh, yeah, Detroit. Definitely. I want to play Detroit. I think Spider-Man will be there in some capacity, so even if it's like a hands-off demo, I want to see it as close to my face as possible.
Dude, I'm really excited about that game.
Yeah. And then
a huge Spider-Man fan.
I want to really dive into some VR titles. Okay. I want to see what's coming up and what looks cool and fun to play, and that's one of my big things I want to try to do. And of course, whatever kind of panels they have there, because they have some pretty cool panels.
Oh yeah, that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to go so bad.
Yeah,
I wanted to interview Gio. I wanted to talk to some folks. Here's something I need to ask of you. One, if there's time and you have the time,
sure.
If you could play Monster Hunter.
Worlds. Yeah. Okay.
Because I'm not a Monster Hunter guy, but some reason this game's talking to me.
Yep.
So if you could play it, let me know.
Sure, because I'm in the same boat. I've never played one, but I will definitely try it out for you.
Yeah. And then the second thing is if you could get people on video saying hello, or hello, Mr. Badbit. That would be incredible.
Okay, yeah, I'll see what I can do.
If you got like a Greg Miller or someone famous.
I'll just take over a panel and I'll just
Yeah.
scream out, "Hey, everyone, just look at me. Say hello, Mr. Badbit."
And then
I'll interrupt the Naughty Dog panel, the 10-year
good.
anniversary of Uncharted. I'll be like, "Hey,
yeah, Neil's gonna really love that.
I'll see what I can do."
So get this guy fucking off the stage. Well, dude, I'm so excited that you're going to PSX.
Thanks, I am too.
I'm so excited to see what you come back with, because we might make a whole episode about it.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
It might just circle all around you. So,
all right.
So, and if you could too, as well, if there's some best friends that you meet and they want to be on the podcast to talk about their experiences,
absolutely,
we're gonna have the technology because of the fact that people out there like you guys, the Make Us Better Patreon, we're able to afford things like Skype recorders, so that now we could bring guests from worldwide, and we don't have to do, clap 3 times, say, a prayer, and then we start recording these videos. Hopefully we'll have less lost episodes.
Yeah.
And it's all because of people like you guys out there making us better every single day. And I want to pimp that Patreon before we say our goodbyes. Kyle, with that, is there anything you want to plug?
My personal Twitter, WhoDatNinja73.
I fucking love that handle.
Thank you, man. Do you know what it's a reference to?
I don't know. Tell me, please.
Oh, it's I was a big 30 Rock fan. And one of Tracy Jordan's movies. It's just a movie poster on the wall. It's Who Dat Ninja. And I just just seeing him in a ninja costume made me laugh. So I was like, oh, that's a good name.
I love that show. I never caught the reference.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So you can follow me there at WhoDatNinja73. If you are a professional wrestling fan, consider joining Kinda Wrestling. It's an offshoot of Kinda Funny. It's a subgroup just about pro wrestling.
Ooh.
We do cool things about pay-per-view prediction seasons. After every season, there's a champion crowned. You get bragging rights. We're doing a 2K18 tournament right now.
Oh shit! No way.
In honor of
Did you guys
Cool
make
Greg.
your own? Did you guys make your own peoples?
Yes, I am the professor, Kyle Stevenson. That's my character. We try to cut promos and stuff. We have fun with it. So if you like pro wrestling in any way, you can join Kind of Wrestling on Facebook and on Twitter. Same name.
That is fantastic. Never have I wanted to buy a WWE game.
I know,
so
right?
much
It's
as
so
right
good.
Now. For me here, it's at Mr. Badbit on Twitter. If you could, again, Make Us Better Patreon. It's Patreon/Make Us Better, no spaces. And then Badbit Games over on YouTube. If we ran Nintendo, you could see me screw up and curse at the end of the post show. That was real fantastic and real embarrassing on my part. But it was, you know what? You gotta learn. Episode 3, I'm gonna get the kinks out of here, eventually. And then, of course, if you liked what you heard today, please hit subscribe to wherever you're listening to. Whether it's YouTube, iTunes, rate us 5 stars. Whether it's, Stitcher, Google Play. There's a new, I think it was like a Podcast FM that I subscribe to. Anywhere you can, and any places that you want us to go to, let us know in the comment section down below. Go, Joe, I love your face. I'm tired of listening on YouTube. Tell me what podcast services you guys listen to, and I will try my best to get it over there. But things like Podbean, things like SoundCloud, that costs real De Niro. So, with all that said, oh no, am I going to end it?
I don't know.
I've been watching The Sopranos recently.
Yeah.
And, Sean Capri always says, I end it like The Sopranos.